which kettlebell weight is right for you? Well, I'm going to talk to you about it, and I am going to show you the 4 different weight kettlebells that I have and how I use them, how I train with them. So hopefully this guide helps you out and you make the right purchase. Before we get into the video, I just want to say that I dropped my very first exercise program. It is based around kettlebells, and you can follow the link. I'll put it in the description below. You can also go to my profile, go to my link tree, and you can go to the program from there. It's only $10. It tells you everything about kettlebells that you need to know. What weight, what exercises, what complexes, difference in brands, the difference in kettlebells. So if you want to support me, you can go get that now. $10 or more if you want to tip your boy. Whether or not you check it out, I appreciate it. So let's talk about these kettlebells. Now, obviously it's going to depend on your experience, how long you've been training for, how strong you are, your endurance and stamina. If you've swung kettlebells before or it's your first time picking them up, it's gonna depend on all of this stuff. What I started with when I started doing kettlebells was this guy right here, which is 35.3 pounds or 16 kilograms. It was good to start with. I wanted to get movements down correctly first. I didn't want to just come out here and start throwing stuff around. So I started with this one, and it was really good to start with. Shortly after though, probably a month and a half, 2 months into kettlebells, I switched to this, which is a 24 kilogram or 52.9 pound. I've been lifting for a long time though, so I already had the strength in me. It was just getting the movements down, but this one has been my go-to for 5-6 months now. So I'm gonna run through all these and I'll tell you what you can use each one for. This one right here is 15 pounds. This is super light. This is not a lot, but you can use it for some things. You can use it if you are just starting working out at all in general. If you have no weightlifting experience, period, then you can start with something like this just to shock your muscles, get your body used to lifting something. You are gonna wanna upgrade shortly after though, but it's a very good start if you don't have any experience at all. Like I said, I've been lifting for a long time. When I started doing kettlebells, I used this for certain things. I used it, for doing shoulder presses upside down like this. I used it for things like windmills, like super uncomfortable exercises I would use it for. The 35 pound, like I said, with lifting experience but never doing kettlebells before, it was a really good starting point for me just because I had the strength. And also something about kettlebells is if you go too light, you're not going to be able to get the full swing or the full momentum out of things. So something too light might not work for you. Something that's like this, like I said, not super heavy but not super light, probably going to be your starter point right here. And then this guy, the 52.9, this one was very, very nice to get because it was a nice upgrade from this guy. So once I started to get the movements down and I was more confident in the movements and like how to do them properly, this guy was like absolutely perfect to perfect my technique, even though it's still not perfect and always working on it to get better and improve. This like changed the whole entire game for me right here. And like I said, I probably did this for about a month and a half to 2 months, this guy. And then I switched over to the heavier one. And I actually felt it like in my exercises and movements and stuff, how I was getting stronger and how I could, the things that I was doing with this in the very beginning, I could start to do with this now. And the form was staying the same, which means obviously I was getting stronger and it was working. So it was a slow progression from this to this one, but once I got this one, this is when I became a official kettlebell guy. And this beast right here, I just got it. It's an 80 pounder or 36 kilograms. And it is, it's heavy to say the least. Like I said, I just recently started swinging it around and it's something that I'm gonna have to get used to it. I'm not gonna use it all the time, but I am gonna do it on heavy days or days that I just want to feel more strength rather than reps. Which brings me to my next point. Things, we'll just cut this guy out for now. From here down, I could do a lot of reps with this stuff. I could do kettlebell complexes and I can just rep with this. I'll just throw an example out there. I could do 5 rows into 5 cleans, 5 squats, 5 presses. But with this guy, you're probably gonna do one of each of those exercises that I just listed. So this is for very advanced, I would say. I also just want to say too, you don't have to get these exact weights. These are kind of just like in-betweens, right? So there's a bunch of weight in between these two. There's a bunch of different weights in between these. There's a bunch of different weights in between these. So you can range. These are just the ones that were available at the time I was purchasing my kettlebells, and they thankfully ended up working out for me. So to recap, let's just go through them really quick. I would say this one, something like a 15-pounder. Probably get this one if you have no lifting experience at all and you were just now starting out lifting. And this one right here, the 16 kilogram or 35.3 pound, I would get something like this if you are an experienced lifter and you're just transitioning over into kettlebells and you've never swung one before and you want to get comfortable with the movements. This one right here, a 24 kilogram or 52.9 pound, I would get this one once you have experience with this and you know what you're doing with the movements. Just make sure you're confident in the movements that you do with this one, and then you can go to this. I still had some learning to do with the movements when I bought this, but this was nice to transition in between that period. And this guy right here, the 36 kilogram, 80 pound. Get this one if you are an experienced lifter and you know what you're doing with the movements and you are very confident in swinging this bad boy around. There's a ton of people out there who lift way heavier than this, but somebody who doesn't do super heavy kettlebell exercises, like I'm saying, I only use this 53 pounder. This is like definitely a step up. So you don't know what you're doing. You want to know what to do. You know what you're doing. What the hell are you doing? That's how I would label these. So I hope that this video was beneficial to you and you can use it in some way to find the right kettlebell weight for you. I have a ton of videos on my YouTube channel that are kettlebell workouts and calisthenic workouts, so you can go check those out. Go check out my shorts. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you follow along, you subscribe, you like, comment, and do all that fun stuff. And yeah, I just appreciate you watching the video. I also just want to say this entire video was a joke. Do not buy this, this, or this. Even if you've never lifted before, buy this right off the rip.
Swing your heart out.
I'm just kidding. All right, bye.